Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the return of Fangs of Fantasy after our brief summer hiatus. The Moose have been defeated and ground up into poutine, and we are back with you. So, we've got such a lot to catch up on, because we've had so many shows come and go during the summer season, and a whole new crop started up. So it's time to return to our continued analysis of all things urban fantasy through our social justice lens. Hello, Renee.
Can I just say that meat poutine sounds disgusting? But yeah.
Of
Hello.
course it sounds disgusting. It's poutine. That's just nasty.
Oh, you know what? There's something wrong with you English people. You're missing out.
It's cheese and gravy. What? No.
What? They go together.
Yeah, Canadians. Anyway, we need to hit the ground running. We really do. So let's start on a good point because we've got so much to rant about.
Alright.
So let's hit Defiance. We actually like Defiance.
Dama.
Oh, the Starmer show.
It's the Sama Show. That's the name of Defiance. It's the Sama Show. We don't have
Wait,
any other name.
it's such a sad thing because the protagonists, Nolan and Arissa, do not care.
Don't.
Really don't care.
They could just go away forever, and I would miss them.
I just want to see Starmer and Yule. Every other plotline can just disappear.
I would not miss them. Oh, she is so good. And that is how you write a strong female protagonist, right? In case you're
Exactly.
wondering. Exactly like that.
She's crafty, she's cunning, she's intelligent, she's brave, is she goes for what she wants and what she believes in. She's willing to adapt. And we've seen time and again that all the old customs, and it's actually kind of interesting, I think, how they've done Daytak's character. He used to fight the old customs because they held him down as one of the lowest caste members of this society. And now he's becoming almost born again with them. He's becoming a real fanatical adherent because now he's at the top of the ladder. Those customs are actually useful to him. Whereas Starmer is still being very flexible, and even as, I mean, Daytak is not only going back to old customs, but he's kind of becoming a fundamentalist with them.
Well, that's just it. I don't think it's because I'm back in power, so I found Captain God. Like, he was very clear that he wondered what would cause a man to just go and give his life like that,
Hmm.
right? And I think he felt cornered, and I think he turned to his religion, like most people do, for comfort and assurance. Like whenever things go wrong in your life, you went back to a time when things felt okay, when you understood the rules. He very
Hmm.
much feels like a duck out of water. He doesn't understand the rules. How is it that his son is the way? How is it that Alec, you know, marries a human girl and doesn't have any Capricorn traits to him, and his wife all of a sudden grows a mind of her own and does her own thing. How are these things happening to him? And it's confusing and it's scary. And I think he ran back to his religion for comfort because at least it was a world he could understand.
Hmm. I also
Compared
think
to
as well,
now.
I think it helps that the religion and the culture, perhaps more than the religion, but the culture of Casti is also one that puts him right at the top of the ladder, which is also helpful, particularly since he's seeing his power base being challenged. And he needs to fall back in, this is wrong. It's wrong that he should lose this power. When, by every objective standard, Starmer fully deserves power and control in the business.
Yeah.
But like these cultural norms reify what he wants to be true. I mean, it's always easy to believe something you want to be true. That he is naturally supposed to lead Starmer, that she has no right to challenge him, even though she is most certainly exceedingly competent and probably more capable than he is. Well, he is more capable than he is, as we've seen the fact that she's increased the business's profits.
by 20%. That's a massive margin.
Exactly. And I mean, she gave him a chance. She said to him, "I deserve to be a partner, and it is a new world."
Mhm.
Because the only thing he has got, which is saying no, she doesn't get to be a new partner, is the prejudices of his past world, and he's clinging to them as well to justify a lot of his behaviour, like putting Alak's hand in that press, justified under old customs.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things which he can actually see himself as being reasonable through this lens.
Mhm. And it's far from it.
Exactly, but it it shows that you can believe any kind of behavior is, well, moral, really, if you're willing to stretch it often enough, and if you want to delude yourself sufficiently.
But that is more. You know what though? Here's the problem I think with the argument that they're making. They're saying any behavior can be moral. Morality is relative. What is moral for a human could be immoral for a castavan. There's really no thing as morality. No such thing as morality. It's only what your community is willing to tolerate. And castavan society finds this more than tolerable and therefore moral.
So it does fit within the Castafan lens of morality, but
Exactly.
it doesn't fit within basic standards of empathy and in the new world he's arrived on, because he doesn't realise how things have shifted, particularly since it's not shifted in a way that favours him.
So
And
yeah.
even his own men are very much creatures of the new world, hence the reason Stammer was able to turn them,
Hmm.
which is another wonderful moment from Stammer.
Well, I love her paying regards to you. Obviously didn't provoke him enough.
And she was already plotting from the very beginning.
Yeah, and what a time to gain self-control.
Is it at last he's finally able to control his temper? Typical.
Yeah, now what I need him not to.
But of course, she always has Plan B because she's Stammer.
Yeah, I think it's very. That's what his return to fundamentalism is, and he's simply not equipped to deal with the world as it is changing around him,
Hmm.
and he's very, very scared.
And I think he doesn't want to. I mean, ultimately, when it comes down to it, the world around him is a world which he does not want. If he accepts the truth of the world, it's very easy not to accept something you don't want to accept.
Yeah.
And he has a very strong incentive not to accept a world in which his son gets to do his own thing and Stammer doesn't cower to his authority simply because he's the man in the house.
Hmm.
I think they actually managed to do quite a few interesting conflicts with the Castifan thing. Like when Christie criticised Datak, that was an interesting one because Alak he attacked Christie and it was very unfair, but at the same time you can kind of see it because it's a case of she isn't Casti, and even though what Datak did was wrong, seeing someone who isn't Casti criticizing Casti culture even in a way that is valid is going to be something he's going to feel not entirely comfortable with.
You see similar arguments if you look back. Um, when immigrants were first arriving, and you had in waves like the Italians, the second wave of Italians coming in and whatnot, and the domestic violence that was happening in their households at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the first settlement workers. So basically busybodied upper class women who decided to become social workers, coming
Mm-hmm.
into their homes and teaching them so-called scientific house management as though they didn't know how to raise their own house. And that was always the argument. They would be in shock and, oh my goodness, the violence. And then these women who were living with the violence, turning around saying, how do you know? You're not like us. You're not from us. You would do
Mm-hmm.
the right? And that's, I mean, I liked it because it was very real, because that's exactly what the reaction is.
Yeah.
Even though we're talking about a fake society, that is the legitimate response. That is what's said. I think what makes it interesting is that it's coming from a man about violence done to him.
Hmm.
That's what makes it a little bit subversive to me.
Because it's the sort of thing you'd expect to see with a gender change, and it has it subverted the side round, showing what is domestic violence. I mean, a family
Yeah.
member lashing out and attacking you, and she's saying how wrong it is, and he's making excuses. It is something. It's a meme which we normally see flipped,
Very much so.
and then it brings in these aspects of culture and Alak both not accepting the violence as good, but at the same time not particularly willing to criticize it in front of an outsider, even his wife. And there's a lot of complexity there,
Hmm.
which I think they've actually managed to hit the idea of having real world parallels without directly invoking.
Yeah, I don't feel that they're appropriating.
Exactly. They've done a really good job with the Castifans like that.
You know, I want to say it's telling. If you've noticed how we've gone on, we've basically talked about the Tar family. It's
Hmm.
almost nothing else exists on the show but the Tar family.
One thing which annoys me about the rest is there is another plot line there which could be fascinating. The idea of the E-Rep representing order and law and safety, however, you will lose some level of, freedom and autonomy because of it,
Yes.
is another interesting point. And I think Berlin tried to make that point when she called Nolan a space cowboy and basically said he was playing at life, running around doing whatever he wanted with his gun, having a whale of a time. They tried to invert that. The problem is
She's wearing
there's no subtlety.
and she's wearing a Nazi uniform. I can't get past.
Exactly.
I can't look past the Nazi uniform. It's very disturbing to me.
And this is a sad point because there's a great storyline there. If Niles were a little less evil, if the E-Rep were a little less evil, if they were more ambiguous,
Hmm.
then there would be something here that could really build this storyline as well. I mean, with her point that he loves it because he's quite strong and powerful and capable of protecting himself. But what about your average person?
Yeah, vulnerable.
Exactly. I think this is an issue.
It seems to be more focused on the love triangle that they're trying to build with um and the whole uppity black man thing, which I can certainly do without.
Oh, with Tommy, and it's like Tommy and say, "Oh, we're coming in, and we're going to, and Nolan's going to become sheriff now." And then everybody seems, whenever Tommy appears, which is very rare, he appears for everyone else to tell him, "Well, actually, you're not good enough. You're not
And
experienced
he'll
enough."
step over the line again. But
Exactly.
yeah, I'm not feeling that.
No, it's
I,
not working.
and it, Shell gave good stank eye. That actor needs to work on that. He needs to look in the mirror and start working on his look.
It needs something a bit better.
Not working for me. I feel it's really very racist. Really very racist.
He's all, and particularly since he is pretty much the token pesicle on the token black man on the show, because we do obviously have the Macaulays, but it is it's a really lacking portrayal.
Say the least.
Yeah, it's a shame because it's another thing where what they could have done more to it, and it could have been all part of the storyline of um it could have been part of the storyline of freedom versus order, and in some ways, Tommy's choice between Berlin and Arissa could represent that as well, particularly since oh, it's quite unusual to see a love triangle done this way, at least in this genre, because normally it's two men and a woman choosing between them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't particularly like the. I didn't particularly like that Orissa meets Berlin. They now hate each other because man.
Mm. I'm of the opinion, who cares?
Hmm.
I don't care about that story. I don't care that she's a goblin. I pretty much don't care anything to do with Orissa. That whole storyline can go away for me.
Yeah, it's not. It's not great. It just really isn't. And it's a shame because we've got this wonderful storyline with the Tars, and we have a lot of potential with other storylines.
Hmm.
And there's even things like Rafe with the firebrands and the trying to raise up support against the Eve Republic, and which could work again if the Earth Republic wasn't the evil empire. There's a lot which could be really good here. It just needs a solid dose of subtlety. It needs the same handle as what they've handled with the Tars.
Yeah, but they're not doing it.
Yeah,
And
if
I'm not interested by it. Every time it happens, I tune out, sort of, and wait for it to end.
sorry, I could barely hear you there.
Every time it comes on screen, I tune out and I wait for it to end.
Yeah, he just can say no. That's it. We want to run to the more interesting characters, which is a shame because Defiance is good, but it could be better. And missed the chance because it wouldn't even take that much.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping though, because that would just pull it out of the good to just amazing, cannot be missed television, as far as I'm concerned. That's it for
Exactly.
me, you know.
That's all.
And in a summer slot where it doesn't have a lot of competition, right? There's nothing that's compelling on right now. And it's not like there's any Game of Thrones or something of that weight
Hmm.
that build a niche for itself.
It just needs to make itself. It just needs to make sure the whole show is hitting the same standards.
Yes.
Shall we move on from there to? We have to talk about it. True
The
Blood.
show,
Sorry,
show,
I can't hear you. You've gone really, really quiet.
the Suki show.
Yes, the Suki show, the fungus that won't go away.
How many more episodes?
Oh, 6, I think. It's a short season.
Okay, this is a death rattle. It's not a season.
Yeah. And the thing which is getting me as well is, despite the fact it's a short season, is it just me or is every episode packed with filler?
Well, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring back all of these old characters so
Mm-hmm.
that we can buy to them, right? So hence the return of Hoyt. But has anyone thought about Hoyt since he left the show?
No. And it's always, oh, we're going to return Hoyt and we're going to have Maxine die so you'll remember her. So, yeah, but you killed Tara. She's the one I want to actually see around. And
You know,
I,
go ahead.
I want to see Tara alive. I want to see Lafayette not being everyone's pet chew toy. And I want to see less of Suki doing really ridiculous things.
Here's what I've decided. They're taking a page out of Charlotte's hands.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the very last book of the season? Everybody had to call Suki and tell her how they were doing. Everybody dropped into her life. People that we hadn't seen in several books dropped in.
They're trying to get the fandom nostalgia going.
Exactly. Oh, look, one last chance to say goodbye to so and so. And last, you're doing exactly what Charlotte Miller did in the very last book of this series. They're wrapping it up pretty much the same way. The only thing is, Suki is going to end up, spoiler if you haven't read it, um, with Sam.
They're really setting her up to be with Bill in the TV series, though. Really
Yeah.
heavily. I mean, the Alcide got in the way, so they just killed him off. No,
Oh,
just like they decided that Pam was going to hang around with Eric. Tara dead. Willa in the plot box.
right? I don't love him as much as he loves me, and I feel guilty for it.
Uh, and they're just does anyone just want to strangle her there? This is while she's of course sat in the middle of the woods waiting for vampires to eat her after walking through the woods and throwing her phone away, as you do.
Oh, I know, and of course that's still relevant because she hasn't gotten around to getting a phone.
And you just look at this and go, why aren't you dead? How could Tara die? Whereas you're doing all this and you don't.
Um, Reason?
Yeah, it. I'm just really not enjoying this show, and even though I kind of do have a guilty love of some of Eric and Pam's nostalgia flashbacks, most of them are irrelevant as well.
Oh, the big 80s hair. And they
Oh,
brought what's her name this week? The
I quite like Ginger, to be honest. I don't know why, I just quite like it, even though her entire role is to sit in a corner and scream.
poor stunned Ginger.
Sorry?
Poor stunned Ginger. They messed with her mind so much that she wasn't even, her mind was messed up because they kept changing her memory.
Yeah, she has been tranced so many times, it's not even funny. I'm just kind of experiencing True Blood now. I'm not trying to follow it. I'm not invested in it. I'm just saying, yeah, 5 episodes to go. I'm not even hating it particularly. I don't have enough passion for it to hate it. It just kind of is this thing that's there. Hello, are we having technical problems? Yes, I think we are. I think Renee has been moosed. Those wretched things. She'll no doubt be heading back ASAP. In the meantime, I will probably try and cover up something else. We don't have a lot to say about True Blood at the moment. I'll do a quick rundown on The Strain. It's a new series from the book by Guillermo del Toro and Chuck something or other, which we have reviewed on the blog, so you can check that on fangsforfantasy.com. I would say so far the first episode is exceedingly loyal to the book, which I'm not sure how much I like, because having read the book, it kind of feels like I've experienced a lot of spoilers. I know what's going to happen. All the tension kind of fails. I know who's going to live. I know who's going to die, and I still don't care. My main objections.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I don't know what happened.
I blame the
I didn't
moose.
I didn't even disconnect the call. All of a sudden you said you couldn't hear me and kept on going.
I was
Um,
just doing a quick rundown of The Strain while you were absent.
oh, I'd like to finish my thought on True Blood, please, if that's okay
Yep.
by you.
Go, 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 go.
It makes me very sad because I remember when Sunday night at 9 o'clock, it was sit down, make sure the kids are asleep because there is to be no talking. True Blood is on. Singing the theme song and looking at all the tweets. I mean, Twitter used to be packed with nothing but True Blood on Sunday nights. It was the show, and it's just a shadow of itself, and all it is this sad little death rattle, and the
Hmm.
relevance seems to be gone right out of it. Um, and it's sad to see that a show that was so good end up just like this. And maybe it's a case of it went on a few seasons too long. Maybe it just didn't know when it was time to do a swan song.
I think so. I'm actually just glad that it is finally ending. At this stage, it is finished.
Yeah.
True Blood has decided it is not going on anymore, and other shows I've missed when they were cancelled, this one it's past time. Goodbye, little True Blood, before you destroy yourself even more than you already have.
Yes. Yes. I will, however, find it interesting if they find a way to bring back to bring back Franklin, even though he's already dead.
Oh, it will be. If they do, though, it'll be something. It'll be like, oh, we're just blatantly fan poodling now. We're just throwing out red meat to the fans.
That's what I think. I think at some point they'll do some kind of weird flashback so that you'll see Franklin and so that you'll see what's his name? Russell
Yeah.
last time, you know.
I
And
think it's very likely.
yeah, one last big one. That's what I'm thinking. Everybody gets one last one song.
Other than that, do you have anything to add on True Blood?
No, I'm good.
A quick finish the thought on the Strain. It's so close to the books that I'm beginning to think that if you've read the books, it's not worth reading. It's not worth watching. I hate the characters. I'm tired of this straight white male protagonist who behaves like an asshole but is brilliant, so it doesn't matter. I've seen it in Helix. I've seen it in everything else. I don't care. And they need to give Dr. Nora or indeed any female character a role in the show that isn't being Ephraim's love interest, because really.
But he's tortured.
Oh, I'm so sick of man pain as well. Speaking of, that's a wonderful segue into Dominion. Or, as I put it, wall-to-wall freaking man pain. I am so sick of this.
Okay, but they're pretty. Doesn't that help?
Archangel Michael literally got out of bed with, what, 7 other women and angst. It's seriously.
Okay, the question is, did he look good while he was doing it?
He did look very good while doing it. But okay, Alex isn't that kind of grade A eye candy, and he is so angsty, it is not even funny.
Mm.
I actually thought we'd be past that because he wasn't a teenage protagonist for once, but oh dear gods.
Well, it's not even on the CW, I don't think, so there really isn't much excuse.
No, it's Siffy, it runs right after Defiance.
I don't know. Since it's the first time we're talking about Defiance, not just
Dominion.
Dominion, I'd like to talk about it a little bit more broadly, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Okay. Dominion sort of drew me in with the idea of God walking away from his creation and saying, y'all are on your own. And the angels then, in turn, declaring war on mankind, blaming them for God's absence. I think the concept has been great. I think that original concept was great. The
Mm-hmm.
problem lies is the follow through. It's not holding me the way that it should. Um, and I can't really put my finger on it. What about it? What about it exactly isn't ringing through for me? It just feels very unrealistic. These people, it's not even that it's like thousands of years in the future and it's this brand new culture. It's that it's like 25, 30 years in the future maybe, and
Mm-hmm.
has semblance to anything that's going on today. Now cultures do evolve, but not like that. Not in a blink.
It's changed too quickly.
Excuse me, and they're ripping off previous cultures like Delphi.
Mm-hmm.
Since when do what is essentially Middle America? How does Middle America suddenly relate so heavily to ancient Greek culture?
Oh yeah, in Vega.
Yes. What
It's,
is
it's got
that?
it's got this huge Romanesque thing. And then there's Helena with this whole Amazonian matriarchal divine feminine, which would be a great culture, but I don't see how that's developed so quickly.
You know what it does? It pulls me away from the show. It snaps me. I cannot get lost in it. It snaps me back to reality, and I find myself saying, "This isn't real. This is ridiculous. It doesn't
It,
work."
it's not just the world building they haven't followed through on, it's the characterization, the decisions. A lot of these characters are making decisions that don't make sense. Like, I don't understand why General Ryzen wants to marry off his daughter to Wheel, because when he's openly said how much he's worried about the influence Wheel wields. He needs a different name because that is awkward to say. But
Yeah.
he's worried about the power of House Wheel and then marries his daughter off to them. So he's like, why would you do that? He's worried about their power, but then keeps handing them more. And I don't understand why there are religious fanatics about the Chosen One. Religion, surely all the questions have been answered. There is a God. You know which God it is. You also know he's absent. And if you have any doubt in the matter, Archangel Michael is walking around and you can ask him. So I don't
Well,
understand this whole prophecy and
well, that's the thing. Why do we have to keep coming back to this chosen one motif? It's so old and it's so tired, and you know, and the fact that it is almost always, not every time, but almost always, a white straight cisgender male.
yep.
Why is it always the white straight cisgender male must save us?
I mean, it's even without the chosen one motif. Happens in every dystopian, and this chosen one just hammers it home even stronger. This is the person who will save us. I love the fact they've even given him a gay man and a woman of color as sidekicks in this as well. Just to bring it home.
Well, I know, just yes, right there. See that? He's got his piece,
Yeah.
and he is the leader.
But this to
And
me is the cornerstone of why this show doesn't work. Alex.
you think?
I the only thing characterization I have about him is that he is boring. He is angsty, he is sad, and everything about him is sad.
Well, look at the not last episode, the episode before, and he's driving across the desert, and he's getting visions, and oh, angst, angst, and more. And I kept thinking she offered to come with you.
Yeah, yeah. All that writing all over his arms, all it translates to is man pain, man pain, man pain. That's all it says. That is because that's his entirety of his character. Man pain. Oh, my starving waif Bixby. Man pain. Oh, the woman I love I can't be with. Man pain. I'm an orphan. Man pain. My mother died to save me. Man pain. Michael's a mean stepdad. Man pain. Stop it already.
Well, that's the center of everything. The world
Oh,
is around him, and this is the problem.
I actually hate the fact I'm watching this on television because every time he appears, I just want to go slap. Get over it.
Well, it's kind of sad because, men being allowed to show emotion is a good thing, but not when it's done like this.
Yeah.
This isn't emotion. This is angst for the sake of angsting because somehow they seem to believe this genre doesn't have enough angst.
And angst is used as a step in for any kind of actual characterization, which is a problem
And we
because he doesn't
also,
have any.
hmm
And we see this in the genre in general. Dead mothers, tragic childhoods, it's all used as a we can't be bothered to characterize. We're just going to throw in some pain.
yeah, just give them a tragic past and send them on their way.
And it makes for a
That's how it
very
works.
boring character. And I'm also tired of the reluctant chosen one meme. Honestly, every single thing he has done, I have predicted because it is so cliched. Even when Michael
Mhm.
followed him out the city, I thought Michael's going to get hurt and he's going to have to bring him back for healing.
Of course,
I mean, it was blatant. This is what was going to happen.
they had to have a reason to bring him back into the city.
And I'm hoping that Claire, Ryson, and Erika get more of a role because there's not a lot of great female characters on this show either.
I'm not expecting it because this show is about the chosen one, and chosen one means the white straight cis male gets all the attention, and everybody else, they're just all side characters to help assist him on his journey. Once you hear that, once you see that is the theme, you should just give up hope on
hmm
any other side characters being suitably developed.
And the whole thing just frustrates me because, as you said, I should be loving this. The world building, the concept, this should be great,
It
and
should be, but it's not.
it's not.
You
I
know,
don't hate it, but
I don't love it. And there was
yeah,
so much excited chatter about the idea of it. The very
Hmm.
idea of God saying, screw you, hippie, I'm gone, right? And he's
Exactly.
excited that, while not you've seen it before, is not something that is generally speaking overplayed, right?
Exactly.
Unlike the 16,000-year-old vampire wanting the teenage girl. This
It
is
was
not overplayed.
it was original,
I know I wouldn't call it original because I
different.
mean, I can think of at least two stories that have this sort
Hmm.
of setup. So I don't think it's original. But what I do think is because it hasn't been overdone, it hasn't been done to death, like the whole Twilight thing.
Exactly.
It's fresh to us, so it draws our attention. I think it's fallen flat.
It has. Speaking on excited chatter,
Mm.
can we have a brief aside about Constantine?
Oh, shall we ever?
I was so excited. I mean, I watched the trailer for Constantine, which is coming up in autumn on NBC. I saw the trailer for it. I sent it to you, and I think I just made an articulate happy noises.
It looks so good.
It looks so awesome. It's like, oh my god, yes! And because obviously I know that Constantine is a bisexual man, which will, I mean, out of all of our shows, we have only had two shows. It will be the second show with an LGBT male protagonist. The other one being In the Flesh, which was tragic, and I would quite like to have a show which isn't tragic.
Well, technically three because there's Da Vinci's Demons, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, I've put that down as a fully erased show.
Well, it is a fully erased show, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah. So Constantine was bisexual. I was looking forward to this, and then David S. Goyer, who missed his true calling in life working for Exodus International, has turned yet another bisexual character straight. Well, he did it in Da Vinci's Demons. He turned a gay historical figure straight, and now he's turning Constantine straight. I just,
So he's batting a with 2 for 2.
yeah. And he's actually in one of the interviews he said, why does everyone keep asking me this question? So why do you keep deciding to make shows using canonically LGBT people and then making them straight? People keep asking you this question because you keep straightening gay and bisexual men. Stop doing it, they'll stop asking you.
Yeah, exactly.
And
You know,
it's sorry, go on.
and here's the thing: you can't say that he didn't know better after his experience with Da Vinci's Demons.
He had to have known.
I personally find what happened with Da Vinci's Demons more horrific,
Because it
only
was a real
because
person.
it was a real person, and LGBT people have largely been written out of history. And this is one that, Da Vinci is someone who's undeniably gay.
Mm-hmm.
Undeniably gay. To do this, where and when can gay people exist? That's the question. If someone like him can be erased. Now, Constantine, he does it again with Constantine. I don't feel as bad about it because it's a fictional character. But it
Mm-hmm.
still comes to the idea that this man could come along and just straight wash everything. It's horrible. And there's no justifiable reason for it as far as I can see. Actually, not that there ever could be a justifiable reason.
Yeah, it's really is appalling. And the thing is, as well, the discussion around it has made it worse because, like, first of all, his excuse is we don't think Constantine's sexuality is important. If you don't think it's important, why would you change it? And if it's not a vital part of the character, then leave it as it is. You don't take conscious steps to change something if it's fine the way it is already.
Hmm.
He must have thought it important to expressly exclude his bisexuality.
Very much so.
And I'm hating this idea of, oh, sexuality isn't a major part of the show, so we'll default to straight then. Being straight is not neutral. It is not the default. It is not automatic. You don't have to be writing a show all about sex and sexuality and relationships to have an LGBT person. You can write a story with LGBT people doing everything straight people do. You don't expressly have to write the romance. And this is what annoys this idea that because the Constantine show is not going to be about sexuality, then he should be straight. It's an insult.
When it's not about, but that happens all the time. You
Yeah,
have shows anyway where when it's about sexuality, it's straight people. When it's about not about sexuality, it's straight people. So from that argument, then there would never be room for the inclusion of a GLBT character.
yeah. It really is a problem. This idea that um, when it's about sexuality, LGBT people are too obscene, and when it isn't about sexuality, LGBT people are unnecessary.
Not really a big deal. Oh, but this wasn't about sexuality, or there wasn't any sex in it, so why are you complaining about it? And I think, you know what it gives the impression? It gives the impression that all GLBT people do is have sex.
Yeah,
They don't get up, go to work, and have coffee, and meet with friends, and pay their bills, just like straight people. Just like straight cis people, Tori.
and that's the
You know,
worst thing as well, is that as part of the discussion around this, there's also a lot of people saying, what do you want him to do? Be in bed with another man? You don't have to show sex to show sexuality. We've seen this 1,000 times. Like,
it just
children's books include straight sexuality, for crying out loud. It does not require explicit depiction.
it can be done. It can be subtle.
And it,
It's subtle. It's as simple as him walking down the street. He sees a guy and you see him check him out, and then he moves on.
mm-hmm, it,
With that, and then you understand that here is a man who's attracted to another man, and guess what? No sex happened.
yeah. Classic example, look at Warehouse 13. Steve Jinks, though he's not entirely flawless, was a pretty damn good character for showing that, hey, here you have a gay character who is more than just, is not just his sexuality avatared,
Hmm.
and it actually is a major thing. Another one was on Switch, and one of the characters on Switch was a lesbian, and again, it was clear she was a lesbian without deciding to drill it home and without deciding to erase it.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Hmm. My last point, which I have to make, which is really annoying me as well, in addition to him being straightened, they're also only going to show him stubbing cigarettes out rather than chain smoking, because obviously they don't want to show cigarette smoking on television. Fandom is approximately 11 times more outraged by the fact he's not chain smoking than they are with the fact that they've straightened him. Straightening him out, yeah, that's fine. Making him a straight character, totally acceptable.
You know what I think it is? They're going to go ahead and write their slash anyway,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
right?
the first time I see slash fanfic about Constantine, I am going to hit the roof.
It's coming. You might as well plan your rage attack now.
Yeah,
It will come. They
yeah.
won't be able to resist it.
Oh,
And I'll see if they make him straight and then do the Hawaii Five-O thing with him.
mm-hmm. I'm already. Oh, if they cohabit as well, if they are slash baiting this guy, there will not be words for my rage.
And I'm betting, I'm betting you're going to see some of that. I'm
Yep,
betting money. I'm going to make him straight and then then fill the show with slash bait.
yep. I am personally going to keep adding to the when I recap this, I am going to definitely include all the times when unnecessary irrelevant sexuality is raised. Oh yes, I am.
You're going to end up with a long list.
Oh yeah, I'm going to do to it what I did to Da Vinci's Demons. But that's Constantine. I think we're going to have to get back on track to cover the rest of the pilots we've covered.
Um,
A brief stop on Witches of East End. cut the storylines, please.
Witches the problem with Witches of East End is every character has something going on.
Yeah.
There's too much going on, it's too busy, and I don't care about all of it. Also, what's up with the tentacle sex?
Yeah, that's just kind of random throwing at the end there. I'm kind of worried about where this is going to go.
I looked at it and thought, that's somebody's kink right there. We're witnessing it firsthand.
Hmm. That's all we need to see.
I see. I think Witches of East End is confused. It cannot decide if it wants to be taken seriously or if it wants to be camp,
Yeah.
and it's
And
got
it
to
kind of needs to go the latter.
I think it needs to be camp.
Yeah,
I agree with you. But either way, it has to choose. It can't keep right in the middle of the road.
exactly. It needs to go all out. And it does some things really well. Like, I don't think, even Charmed, I think, didn't quite do the same level of female family bonding as Witches of East End does. I can believe these people as sisters, as children, as or, I can see these people as family. They feel like family to me.
Yeah,
But yeah, it needs to stop trying to take itself so seriously.
yeah, I very much feel it just. No, I wouldn't even say stop trying to take it that so seriously. I would simply say choose. You
Yeah.
can't have both. Choose one. Because this seesaw thing that they're doing, fine, you give it okay for the first season because it's just getting its legs,
Hmm.
but it's not an excuse anymore. This is season 2 now. So
It Go on,
it's
go on.
it because they're not choosing which way to go, it doesn't make it pleasurable to watch. I can't really get into it because I don't know what they're trying to tell me.
Yeah, it's too much. There's too it can't strike the balance between being sensible or being funny, and it can't strike the balance, and it hasn't got the right amount of storylines. There's too much going on,
Uh-huh.
and but if it gets those two right and then does something with marginalized characters, it will be a pretty damn awesome show.
Yes.
But there are
Yes.
big ifs.
Um, shall we do the book of the week?
Yeah, we will return to Teen Wolf Under the Dome and Falling Skies next week. I'm sure everyone's eager. But I need to talk about this one. And I'm blaming
It
Renee just on general principles.
was your idea to read all of these Anne Rice books because you wanted to be able to review her new book coming out on Halloween. I am
Yes, but
just
you're the one who said that Anne Rice could actually write and wasn't awful.
completely awful.
She's awful. She's terrible. She's appalling. I actually don't have enough negative descriptors in the English language because if I use them all to describe her writing, that runs out of ones to describe this book. The book is Mem Not the Devil. It's not a story because it has no plot.
Well, first of all, this book is essentially Anne Rice working out her problems with the Catholic Church, right? Um, and you can see that as it goes along. Obviously, because she meets the men knock, and is the devil really bad? Did Lestat even really meet the devil? Who did Lestat meet? You know, it's essentially to question everything she's been told to take on faith. That is the purpose of them, not the devil. Hello? Hello? Okay, for whatever reason, we seem to have lost Paul, our less than 30.
Hello? Oh, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but it seems we both got moosed. Anne Rice has powerful minions indeed. Um, as I was saying, I don't know how far I got, but so I'll just have a recap because I'm mid-rant and I am not going to stop. I will not be silenced. Um, so, we start the book with Lestat falling in love with one of his victims because for some reason Lestat passes someone in the street and he falls desperately in love with them because he's melodramatic and I just don't know. Anne Rice doesn't have any concept of love or affection in her books. They're
No,
terrible. I'm just
that's
mid-rant.
for the record.
I blame Anne Rice.
Hmm.
So he meets this guy. He falls in love with him, as Lestat does all the time. He kills him. He eats him. His ghost comes in and gives us about 100 pages of pointless backstory. It is never relevant. It is not even slightly interesting. There is nothing about this ghost long info dump that is remotely relevant to anything or anyone could possibly be interested in. But we get it. And then the devil drops in and just splurges Anne Rice's take on Genesis, the Bible, the Passion, and everything. It is just literally 300 pages of info dump with Lestat
I think
occasionally going, "No, I'm crying. No, I'm sad. Yes, I'm excited."
I don't know that I would call it info dump.
I would.
Um, well, I mean, the idea is the stat is meeting the ultimate of temptation, right? The ultimate bad boy, the ultimate
But there's no
anything
real
to follow the rules.
temptation there. He doesn't try to tempt him. He doesn't even appeal to any part of Lestat for not following the rules. In fact, if anything, he appeals to a higher moral calling more than any kind of temptation. His appeal is based on the idea that God is wrong, God is evil, and Memnon knows the right way. It's
Yeah,
all about morality, and it's long, painful, and convoluted, and over-described, overwritten, in which nothing happens. And my review of this book is actually quite short because the middle of it is just that's all I can say about it. It's an info dump. It's this huge, massive screed on Anne Rice's take on these various biblical events, and that's all it is. There's no story there. There's no plot there. There's no twist there. There's no development there. It's just dump, 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 and then this happened, and Jesus did this, and God did this. It's an info dump. It makes the info dumps in Queen of the Dam look quite restrained.
I didn't think he was gonna like them, not the devil. I really didn't think he was gonna
I
like
think anyone who likes Men Not the Devil is ill and needs help.
them. It's not nearly as bad as you're seeing. It's not nearly as bad as you're making it seem.
And then add to that we have Dora, who is this random dead man's daughter who quite likes Lestat despite, the whole father murdering thing. And for reasons unknown starts calling Lestat darling. See my previous point about Anne Rice having absolutely no idea how relationships work, with people just falling in love for no damn good reason. And the licking of the leather mouth menstrual blood, which I didn't need, thank you.
Well, I don't think he actually did it, did he? He just said he
He did
thought
it.
about it.
No, he did it. It was described at great length how he did it. great length. And after like a whole first part of the book saying how she doesn't believe in relics, relics are not the source of goodness, relics are not godliness. Second half, relic, yay, you're gonna find my own religion because I got me a relic. So well, no one else is consistent here, love. So why should I expect you to be?
Well, well, I don't
And
even know what to say.
And for some added fun, we have some really dubious. So when we're telling Ghosty Guy's backstory, the backstory which doesn't matter to anybody at all, and it's all about this wink in the wild who wrote these holy books which no one cares about ever again in the book. Um, the start talks about this
Or
guy,
it's to bring belief to the earth again because the earth is hurting.
but we never get there.
But that's why you have the relic. It's to bring belief back to the earth
But it
so
goes
people can be
counter.
hopeful again.
But it goes counter to everything she stood for. She stood for actual goodness rather than things. That was the whole
What do you
point of
mean?
her ministry.
No, the relic to bring goodness and warmth and love back into the earth again because now people have faith and it's not just 2,000 years ago. They have something in the present in which they can have faith.
But this
That's
is
the
just
idea.
but this has just followed half of the book, which says basically that God doesn't give a shit. This follows an
Yeah,
entire
God,
book of that.
yeah, but God doesn't give a shit from Memnoch. And remember, the devil shall lead you into temptation.
But he didn't tempt. He gave us morality play, and it challenged the whole idea that suffering for suffering's sake is somehow a holy experience.
Yeah, but you can't. Well, yeah. I mean, she is Catholic. It fits.
Ugh, it's terrible. And then the cream of the cake is when we get Roger's irrelevant backstory. He talks about how when he was a minor, this old man used to let him
You're gonna.
take him places and show him things, which we call grooming. And then when the old man makes his moves on the young Roger, Roger says no, and Lestat's response is, "Well, how dare you? You didn't even sleep with him." Well, well, damn. And then added in there's then a priest who helps this young Roger, and he never does anything. He just stands real close to the boys and breathes heavily. But you can't judge men like that. Actual quote: "You can't judge men like that." So, seriously, I'm judging. This is my judgy face. And even then, like
Oh,
Roger is another one of Anne Rice's infinite bisexuals, which means sex with women and theoretical with men. And he
yeah.
talks about the women he sleeps with and the boys. Because Anne Rice is happening a lot. I mean, the witches did it so well, the Mayfair witches. Now there's a lot of these dubious age lines when it comes to your men who are gay or bisexual, and it's getting into a very big pattern, and that was just frankly creepy.
Yeah, because you get the sense that they're sleeping with children,
Yeah.
in which case it's not gay, it's pedophilia, and
Hmm.
that's a completely different animal.
So
Much,
it's
much as the two are falsely linked in the minds of many.
yeah, it's discomforting, um, because it's coming up in a few books now, and I'm kind of looking and going, you got to kind of establish this, particularly since she's so very she steps around actually having two adult
Hmm.
men have sex. And we know Roger had sex with a woman because we saw it. We saw him describe her passionately, and we saw the child they produced. We saw Lestat both rape someone and have sex with a woman in Tales of the Body Thief. But there's always a huge dance around putting them with an actual someone of the same gender.
Mm.
On the whole, if I wasn't committed to finishing this series, I would have DNF'd it.
Really,
I would have DNF'd it before we even got to Memnock appearing.
I didn't think it was as bad as that.
I think you have rosy glasses of memory. Memory is a terrible thing.
I didn't think it was as bad as that. Really.
It's dire. It is actually the worst Anne Rice book I have read to date, except maybe
I haven't read
The
Wolf.
Mayfair Witches.
When you read
Sorry,
Wolf Gift, when you read Wolf Gift, her werewolf series, then you can complain.
I have a fear on that because that's the only Anne Rice book you've read recently.
Yes.
I think you are seeing Anne Rice at her standard, and now you have become more discerning in your taste. I reckon if you reread Memnok the Devil, you would not finish it.
Well, I reread, some of the series as we're going along, and I'm
I,
not as horrible as you did, but I no longer find it as compelling.
I've honestly, I can't say there's been a single book that Anne Rice has written so far that I have enjoyed. It's just been different levels of hating.
Well, I thought you would have enjoyed Tales of the Body Thief.
No,
That's comedic.
not particularly. I mean, there were parts of it that were decent, but there were parts of it, yeah.
Well, maybe you'll feel better when we move on to the Witching series and you read Lasher and Taltos.
Oh God, don't threaten me.
It's not as if I said I was going to send Uncle Julian to come and get you.
Which is another one. Another one. Oh, just yeah.
All
No,
right.
I will. I will get through it. I will get through it sooner or later, as long as I break it up with other books which don't make me want to tear out my eyes.
Mm-hmm. You're so dramatic.
I suffer.
All right. Should probably call it a week.
Yep, our book of the week for next week is A Fair Game by Patricia Briggs. That's book 3 in the Alpha and Omega series, which I'm actually quite impressed with because it's managed to take a lot of the more annoying elements of the Mercy Thompson series and do them well,
Well,
which impresses me.
there's no Adam.
Exactly, there's no Adam. And anytime anyone else tries to go, aha, I'm going to play the big alpha wolfy wolf, the whole point of Anna is she doesn't play that game, which is
And it's
so much wonderful to see.
much better. Adam is the destruction of the Mercy Thompson series.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. We will, of course, keep watching all of our current shows and try to catch up on the ones which we haven't watched spoken about yet, including Falling Skies and the plots that make no sense, Under the Dome and the rapidly diminishing minorities, and Teen Wolf, which has finally started to get going.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, we are back at our standard time, 7 o'clock every Monday. Watch our blog, fangsthefantasy.com, for any further details. That's where all of our reviews, recaps, and discussions appear. You can find us at Twitter, Facebook, Booklights, Goodreads, and Librarything, all Thanks for the Fantasy. We're quite easy to follow. And all of those details are on our website as well, fangsforthefantasy.com, in case you don't know the exact specifics. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Well, me and Renee will see you here, same time, same place.
Yeah, have a good week, everybody.
Goodbye.